Do you know this person? Or this person? Or how about this person? But do you know this person? His name is D'angelo Thompson. And though you may not know his name, you have definitely seen his work. For over 2 decades, his mastery of beauty has made him one of the entertainment industry's most sought-after artisans. John Oliver, Kevin Hart, Martha Walsh, and the Queen of Soul herself, Miss Aretha Franklin, are just a few of his notable clients. His work on the Wendy Williams Show even earned him 3 Daytime Emmy nominations and a win in 2010. As an author, mentor, educator, and philanthropist, D'angelo continues to push the boundaries of his commitment to his mission in life, to illuminate the beauty industry as a valuable artistic expression for all who experience it. Soulivity Magazine is pleased to present the enhanced beauty of D'angelo Thompson. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm very good.
I am I'm I got excited about doing this interview with you. I've been uh of course doing some homework on you. I'm so impressed.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm so impressed. I mean, as you said before, you've been doing this for a long time now. What, 25 plus years now?
Yes, yes.
Um, you've done the full gambit of beauty. I mean, from
Everything.
hairstylist to makeup artist, but then the other very beautifully surprising things were you're also an educator
Yes, I
and
do.
a
Yeah.
philanthropist.
Yes, education has been, I would say, part of it for the past almost 20 years. Um, I met a woman named Michelle Richardson in California when I used to live out there,
Hmm.
and she has a makeup school, still does, and she was looking for instructors. And I was young; I didn't think I could teach anything, you know. But she had me come in. I taught a class. All the students gave me rave reviews, and she kept booking me. And almost 20 years later, we're great friends,
Hmm.
and we're actually working on something currently together that's not makeup related, but a production we're going to be doing. And it's interesting because you remember the movie with Matthew McConaughey, Dallas Buyers Club?
Oh yeah.
So the makeup artist, Tawasa Lee, she was one of my students in San Francisco. She was just a hairstylist. She did not know a thing about makeup.
Wow.
And I walked her through the whole process, and almost, I would say 18 and 19 years later, I'm watching the Oscars, and then Michelle texts me. She goes, one of your students just won an Oscar.
Oh,
And I was like, what? I was like, okay, that's on my bucket list too.
yeah. Hey, well,
So
you got the daytime Emmy going on, so
I got the Emmy, and
you're
it's funny. That wasn't on my radar. That was not on my radar at all.
wow. So this is not what you do. This is who you are.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow. Do you consider your work like art, or do you how do you what do you consider your work?
I consider my work, I consider it art when I'm able to create as a makeup artist,
Hmm.
which is few and far between because if you want to be a working makeup artist, you do have to kind of tone it down for mass market, for lifestyle, for commercial,
Hmm.
for television, and for film. Unless you're doing more special effects or creating a look for, say, a fashion show, which I've
Gotcha.
had the opportunity to do. But overall, I would say it is art because I live my life as an artist, not as a businessman, but as an artist.
Hmm. 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 Wow. Now you grew up in Chicago, correct?
Yes, I grew up in Chicago, but I was born in Hazelhurst, Mississippi,
Okay,
a
now
very small hick town in Mississippi.
now you're gonna have to tell me something on that. So, I mean, okay, uh, you know, when did you leave Hazelhurst? And give me the background, give me the story.
I'll try to fly through it quickly. Hazelhurst, I was born, and my family lived between, oh my God, I'm naming these towns, Boca Chica, Sontag, and Brookhaven, Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
which is all south of Jackson, the capital of Mississippi.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're small towns that actually were African-American townships for a very long time.
Mm.
And one city in particular where my father lives, they're all my dad's people,
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So lived there from birth until about age 11 or 12, and then my family, my mom and my siblings and my stepdad, we all moved to Chicago.
Gotcha. Now, how old were you then?
I think I was 12, so I was going into the 8th grade, so I had to be 12 or 13.
So what was it like making that transition? I mean, from going to basically what I would say was the rural South to
Yes.
now this big urban, I mean, that's like night and day.
It was night and day, and actually it was, it's funny, because when I was a kid, I used to watch, TV, like Dynasty and all these different shows, Dallas,
Yes.
name it.
Yes.
And magazines, I always had an eye to look at magazines and different things, or even patterns. If I saw patterns laying around, I would always look at things that intrigued me. So I think at a very young age, somewhere in my subconscious, I knew that I would get the hell out of Mississippi. And even like looking at the stars, like playing in, say, fields, like cornfields, or even just grass fields. And so, kids, we like lie in the grass and we look up and we make a wish.
Right.
I remember at least 2 moments of saying, this is not for me. I have to be in a bigger place.
Wow.
I literally felt like my soul was going to die if I stayed there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get encouragement from family, from mom, from that kind of thing around moving out of that that a limited mindset into a more of an expansive mindset?
I think I have to give my mom credit, because she was born and bred in Mississippi as well, but I think she knew that she did not want to raise her kids there.
Okay.
And she knew there were still limits, even in the 70s, to where young black men and girls could go. And she wanted out. So I'm eternally grateful that she got us out of there into Chicago. And it was culture shock. I mean, I was a country kid on the west side of Chicago for like a year or two. And it was pure culture shock,
Wow. So, I mean, what was it like growing up in Chicago? I mean, those final kind of like, because you're entering into adolescence, which is a very important time of development. What was that like? What was that experience like in Chicago?
I can honestly say that I remember just hopping on the bus and just going downtown and I always was a kid to, hey, Mom, can I get money for a token? I want to explore. Or I would walk. And I remember going out of like not so good neighborhoods into nicer neighborhoods downtown and beyond. I would always go to the lake, and I would always sit at the lake.
Yeah.
I would sketch, I would dream, I would read books, and never really interacted with people like along the lake, but just always was my place of comfort, my place of dreaming. And the years there, I really fought hard once I graduated from 8th grade to go to a high school that had all types of people, artists, creatives, and it was Curie High School on the southwest side of Chicago. And stepdad fought me tooth and nail not to go there. And my mom, because he wanted me to go to school in the neighborhood with my kids. And I was like, I get that, but I'm an artist, and I need to get to a place where I feel like I can grow.
Wow.
And I would get my ass beat every
every
day.
That's all right.
If I went to Lindblom on the south side of Chicago, where we were living.
Right.
And I won. And how I won was like, okay, it's a lot of money to go an hour and a half across town 5 days a week.
Wow.
You're going to have to work. And I was like, okay, I got it.
So,
and I worked all through high school.
So, did you work in beauty then, or did you do other odd jobs before?
Odd jobs. I can honestly say I've always had an entrepreneur mind. So, literally, I would mow lawns in the summer.
Right.
Well, my first job in Chicago was tutoring. So I would tutor kids that were younger than me.
Okay.
They had a summer job program in Chicago for the mayor's office. And I remember saying to my teacher at the time, I was like, oh, I'm 12, but I think the age was 13 or something. And she was like, you're too young. I said, well, I will be 13 by the time everything rolls around. And she pushed it through. So I ended up tutoring kids in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade that were younger than me.
Wow. Wow.
My first job in Chicago, and then from there on, I mowed lawns, I sold T-shirts, you name it. Worked at a yogurt shop, a bagel shop, whatever it took.
You were making it happen, brother.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Now, when did you get interested in beauty, in the aspects of beauty and makeup and hair and this kind of thing? When did that happen? Did that happen later, or did that happen while you were in Chicago?
Actually, beauty was always in my DNA, and that's the
Oh,
best
wow. Okay.
of it, because as a young boy, I'm talking about age 5 or 6, I
Mhm.
remember sketching faces and painting
W-
faces,
Wow.
and doing these huge Victorian type gowns on
Mhm.
the drawings I would do.
Mhm.
And as I got older, I would torture my sister's dolls. I was like, oh, she did this beautiful doll. I would do something. I would cut the hair. I would paint her with nail polish or something crazy. And my sister went along. She stopped fighting about it. Initially, she would scream, and initially, she was like, whatever, he's going to do whatever anyway.
Mhm.
And so it was at a very young age that I think my eye was drawn towards beauty, and television was a huge influence as well. Seeing
Mhm.
Diane Carroll,
Oh,
Diana
wow.
Ross, just beautiful women, that also inspired me.
Wow. So, what was your first job in the
Oh
world of
my
beauty?
God. Let me think. Okay. I would have to say it would have been in New York,
Okay.
getting friends ready when I was in college at 18,
Mhm.
working in the nightclub scene in the sense of like getting people ready for fashion shows,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
or at school doing fashion shows. It wasn't necessarily pay, but my first paid job was actually for a gentleman named Randy Love.
Mhm.
He's he was in Chicago at the Regal Theater because they had just reopened it,
Mhm.
and it's called Fashion for the Misbehaving. It was sponsored by a liquor company. And it was all these celebrities, from Will Smith to all the cast from Fresh Prince to Bold and the Beautiful. What's her name? Sherelle, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They all were there.
Goodness. So, what was? I mean, okay, you've now kind of entered into this world now. I mean, where you know you are kind of rubbing shoulders with stars. I
It,
mean, that must
yeah,
have felt incredible at that age.
it was, and I was a young kid. I think I was working. It was during the summer, so I was back home for the summer. So I was working at oh my God, I'm going to say this, Oak Tree. You remember Oak Tree?
Oh yeah. Oh
I was
yeah.
working there, and a African American gentleman came in. He was so nice, and we were talking. He's like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I live in New York. I'm here for the summer. Um, my interest is beauty and fashion." He's like, "I'm a makeup artist," and I never really made the connection that, number one, men could be makeup artists,
Right. Mhm.
and two, that there were more African American men doing well in makeup artistry. You
And
know,
and
and Randy took me under his wing.
and you were like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and
did it feel natural for you? Of course you had to learn and be
yeah,
educated and learn and become, because my guess this is, the artistry is more of a mentor-mentee kind of
yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
Did it feel just natural for you? Because given, the stories that you told me as a child, I mean, it seemed like this was destiny.
It felt natural in the sense that I was very comfortable around celebrities. I didn't have fear as far as that was concerned. But
Mm.
I do know that I had a lot to learn. I mean, I could groom men fine, and also if women wanted very natural makeup, I could do that. But
Mhm.
your divas, your singers, when they wanted a little extra,
Right.
and I
Right.
can think for when I was doing Sherelle's lashes, and I was shaking. I could not stop shaking. And she said, "Baby." I said, "Mm-hmm." She goes, "Can you go get Randy, please?" I was like, "Okay, I'll go get Randy." So when I got Randy, I keep shaking. I can't get her lashes on. He's like, "Just take a deep breath and just, don't think about it. Just, lay them on." and I still couldn't do it. And he did it, and I promised myself the next time an opportunity came around,
Mm-hmm.
I would be a master of lashes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so that and my guess is, and there it begins, right?
And there it began, and I moved back to New York for school, and I was having problems paying tuition, and
Mm-hmm.
my girlfriend Sonia, at the time Estupinan was her last name, she was like, D'Angelo, you do our makeup for clubs, you do makeup for fashion shows, why not try to get a job in the makeup industry? And
Wow.
I marched downtown from Pratt Institute to downtown Brooklyn and got a job at A&S, Abraham and Strauss,
Mm-hmm.
for fashion fair. So that was one of my first cosmetic company gigs.
Wow. So school brought you to New York.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Wow. And then everything else, and then I mean, you're in New York, so a fashion and beauty capital of the world.
Yes,
I mean, why leave or go anywhere else? This is where you needed to be.
exactly. And, as a young person in New York City, there were struggles, ups and downs.
Right.
But I honestly say that having worked at Fashion Fair, I met a gentleman named Alfred Fournet,
Mm-hmm.
who was the international makeup artist and trainer for Fashion Fair. He also took me under his wing. And
Mm.
Byron Barnes years later, took me under his wing.
Mm-hmm.
So still, Byron's doing Jennifer Hudson and tons of people. And we are friends now. We pass work between each other, you know. If there's a celebrity
Mm.
he can't do, he's like, D'Angelo, call D'Angelo. And he's been a mentor and just a great, wonderful angel in my life.
Well, no, it's so funny. As you were talking, I think about, of course, Hollywood's portrayals of people who are in New York, who are in the industries of fashion and beauty, are a lot of times a lot different than the story that you're telling,
Yes.
which is more it sounds like that's more in reality than it
Mm-hmm.
is like the devil wears Prada kind of circumstances.
I've crossed
Um,
people too.
oh, you crossed it. So it's not that those
Yeah,
people
I
don't
have.
exist. It's
They
like,
exist. They exist.
but your experience based upon what seems like where you were always supposed to be, where these angels just kind of like came into your life at the appropriate times.
Yes, that's the key word, angels. I've always, at the right time, met the right person to mentor me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Eventually I worked my way through New York for a few years, and I was going to school, working part-time, and had another part-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and shooting on the weekend. So what was
Mm.
coming my way, a burnout,
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I burned out. I burned out at I think I was 22 or 23.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God. One day I was just like, my boss said something to me at an office I worked at,
Mm-hmm.
and it just didn't sit right with me that day.
Uh-oh.
And I took because she had questioned what kind of work was I doing. Like basically, I wasn't doing my job, and I thought, really? So I stacked everything in her chair that I do in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, not only did it go to the top of the chair, it overflowed on her desk, into her cabinets. I set it all there, and I turned and I signed out. She was in a meeting. I signed out, and I didn't look back.
Wow.
And that was a bold move because I really had no money. But I knew that, and I've always known this, I wouldn't be talked to or disrespected in a certain way.
Right.
And long story short, her boss called me for 4 months to come back to that job.
Her
And by
boss.
that time, I had moved to San Francisco. Yeah.
Mm.
I sold everything, got enough money together. I knew I had checks coming from these different part-time jobs coming my way. And I think I had maybe $200, maybe $300 and a bus ticket one way to San Francisco.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I hopped on that bus, local, not an express,
Oh, yeah.
because
It
I
takes
wanted to
you
see the country.
exactly. It takes you about a week to get there.
It did, yes. How do you know this?
Hey, I know about riding that bus, that local bus too.
Oh my God. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
what I did. I hopped on, and my friend a friend that I knew from Pratt, she lived there, and she's like, my mom has a Victorian, and I live downstairs. You can stay with me until you get on your feet. And that's what I did.
Wow. And so the boldness and the courage of making that decision instead of just staying in a situation where uh, you're unhappy, right? And you knew that this was not where you're supposed to be. You just said
Yeah, at the
enough
time,
at the time, of course,
at
at
the
the
time.
time.
And
Yeah,
in hindsight, like if I had a child, I would say, "Honey, slow down."
yeah, yeah,
Think
yeah,
this through.
yeah.
But I only knew, 'cause I was kind of, I was my own guy. Like I didn't have many, say, guardians kind of watching over
Mhm,
me in a sense.
mhm.
And I wouldn't have listened anyway, to be honest.
Right, right.
And I ended up in San Francisco. I knew I had about a week or 2 weeks because my money would run out to find a job. And I found a job the second week, you know. And it was a fashion fair contact, and then I worked for them, then Lancome, and then I moved into Bobby Brown, and I started freelancing at that point. So
Mm.
I started to find my rhythm,
Mhm, mhm,
freelancing in store and also freelancing with photographers, doing jobs.
mhm,
And I honestly can say I didn't never consider it a career until about 20, it's been 27, 28 years now.
mhm.
So about 20 years ago, it hit
Mm.
me as a career in San Francisco that, hey, this is who I am and this is what I am,
Interesting that the decision that you made in New York led you on a path to San Francisco,
Yes.
which is on the other side of the world. I mean, yeah, it's in the United States, but the differences between New York and in San Francisco are like, again, night and day.
Huge, huge.
And so
And it was
you're
a small market.
there, and then you grow into this new understanding about again, who you are and how you
Yeah.
want to express that in terms of your professional career.
I
Wow.
always tell younger artists to go to secondary or third markets
Mm.
because when you're in LA and New York, there's so many of us.
Mhm.
And I think that experience going to San Francisco to a smaller market, and I already had a New York hustle, which worked
Mhm.
to my benefit,
Mhm.
because when everyone else was sleeping, I was up at 7, 8, making calls, sending emails, and my day would be done by 12 or 1 o'clock, you
Mm.
know?
Mm.
And I always kept that momentum. I always worked 6 days a week, have
Mm.
had Sundays off, maybe.
Mhm.
And I met a young man, and God forgive me, I forget his name,
Mhm.
but was it Anthony? Can't remember his name.
Mhm.
But he said to me, he's like, "Oh, I work for McCann Erickson in downtown San Francisco, and my boss is looking for a makeup artist to do press junkets."
Wow.
And I said, His name was Anthony. I can't remember his last name.
Mhm.
I said, "I'm definitely interested." And I didn't know what I was saying yes to.
Right, 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 right,
I was
right.
just like, "Yeah, sure."
Sure, hey.
And she called, and she's like, "Hi, I'm from McCann Erickson. We have a client, Sony TriStar.
Oh,
A lot of
wow.
our celebrities do press junkets in this market, Northern California, San
Mhm.
Francisco, San Jose, Sacramento.
Mhm.
We need a makeup artist. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Of course, And she also said, "We need someone who can do both hair and makeup." At that time, I only did makeup. I didn't do hair and makeup.
Okay.
But I said yes. I'm like, yeah, I can do both.
Jump right on in.
There
Yeah.
wasn't YouTube. There wasn't anything you could necessarily Google to really get a lesson really quick. What I did, I bought books. I
Oh
bought books.
my goodness gracious.
And I remembered things I saw in black hair care salons that my mom went to. The beauty shops that I would sit in for hours. I
Mhm.
remember watching what they would do, and it stuck in my head. How crazy is that?
Oh my, not for the faint of heart. Just
Because I
jump.
hated being in a beauty salon for hours. I hated it. My mom was getting a Jerry curl. I don't know if you remember how long that process.
Oh, oh yeah.
Way back,
Way back. It was
and I would watch
all
the
day.
whole process.
And so you just retained all this information.
Some way, somehow, I'm very visual. If
Okay.
I see it, I normally can duplicate it. It's a
So
weird, yeah.
so you did the first press junket and you had to do hair the first time you had to. How did that go?
It actually, I can honestly say it went really well.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, the client said to me, she's like, what's your rate? I had no idea about rates. I was making hourly. I worked my way up hourly within the freelance world, but I never knew what day rates were. And I was like, tell me your budget. I was smart enough to say, what's your budget? She gave me a number, almost fell out of my chair. And this is when advertising really paid.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
It's changed a lot, but they really paid back then. This is the mid-'90s.
Before the adjunct of the internet and that kind of
Yes.
thing, and
Yes.
everything was print.
And they were
Yeah.
serious coins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I almost fell on my chair, and I was very calm. I was like, oh, that sounds okay.
Yes. Okay. And on the
It sounds
inside,
okay.
you're like,
Screaming.
oh.
Yeah, screaming. She's like, we'll send a car for you. I was like, okay. So I was in San Francisco. I had to go to San Jose for this junket and to do this young actress at the time, Selma Hayek.
Oh,
and
my
this was her
goodness.
first movie in the U.S.
Mm.
Fools Rush In.
You did her makeup.
I did her makeup for the press junket.
Goodness gracious.
I walk in to her hotel room, and this gorgeous, petite woman comes out. I'm like, oh, my gosh, she's beautiful. With this curly, bouncy, curly hair, like huge head of hair. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, okay, breathe. I pray to God she does not want this blown out. Because that I could not do.
Wow. And so how was she? She was probably, I've heard that she's very gracious, very nice.
Let me just say, she gets it. She gets it that she's talent. She gets that what we do. She was not only gracious, she put me immediately at ease. And I wasn't nervous around her, but I was immediately at ease because she was in a robe, and I just knew she was a beautiful person. And we started talking, and she shared a lot of personal stuff. She talked about her brother, who's also he's a furniture designer, and I think he still is a furniture designer. And I knew who she was dating at the time, so it was very interesting.
Wow.
And we walked through makeup. I left everything there for her. I shouldn't have, but I did. And I was like, no, take it all, because I had a stash of stuff at home. I was like, you can have it all. And she's like, I just want my hair curly. Just enhance the curl a little. I was like, thank God.
Of course, we're like, yes, of course, we can do that for you.
Exactly. Oh, thank God. And long story short, she gave rave reviews back to the advertising agency. And then the rest is history. From there, I got Jamie Foxx, who she had dated at one time, And then from there, I got, oh my God, John Leguizamo, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was actually my childhood hero. And I ended up working with him.
Okay.
And...
Question.
Okay.
What's your definition of beauty?
I think I've coined it now. It's enhanced beauty. Which means that I'm not coming in to try to transform a client, and mostly women, but also I have men too, mostly women clients. Kevin Aquan said this many years ago, that you can find beauty in every single person. You just have to bring it out, right? You just have to enhance it. And that changed my approach to beauty when I met him eons ago. And I just look at a person when they sit in my chair. I go, what's her best asset, If it's the eyes, if it's the skin, if it's the lips, I bring that out. So it's enhanced. So every single person, I don't care who you are, I think they're beautiful, and I think I can pull something, one or two or more qualities out in them. So it's beauty. That's it.
Wow. So you probably abhor terms in terms of beauty like stereotype or stereotypical kinds of, applications of makeup and hair.
Yes, and we're, as a man, way back, women wouldn't trust me because I was a man to do their makeup, and that eventually changed. And then as a man of color, especially when I lived in San Francisco, like white women or Asian women would come up to the counter at the time or on set, can you do my makeup? And I was, well, I've trained on every type of face. I've studied every kind of book. I mean, if you were here in my home, you would see I have I'm looking at them now. Hundreds of books on makeup and art. So
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, I think I can do it,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And on
Mhm.
occasion, still now, 27, 28 years later, there are people that, can you, and I just look at them. Because now you can say, Google me, you know? But
You got a
now,
you have a phone. You have a phone.
yeah,
While
exactly.
while I'm waiting, why don't you just go ahead and use that iPhone right there? You know.
But there are still artists that can't do women of color.
Mm.
I was teaching once, and actually not teaching, I was judging a contest once, and one of the young ladies said, she's like, well, she's black. I can't create this look on her.
Mhm.
I looked at her. I said, you're an artist, right? She goes, yes,
Mm.
and create.
Mm.
Because, look, I don't have that option. Whatever client they throw at me, I don't have the option of saying, oh, I can't do.
I can't do that. I can't
Yeah,
do
but
that type of person.
yeah, she thought she could dismiss this, woman of color, this model, and put someone else in her chair. I was like, no, and talent will tell you this. Celebrities will still tell you this. They'll go on jobs or talk shows, and they won't have their color foundations or powders. You know, that to me is
Wow.
ridiculous in the 2000s.
Mm. Mm. So there's still, again, there's still this disparate gap that exists in terms of people actually knowing and perfecting their craft to the point at which it doesn't matter who's in the chair.
Exactly, exactly. And
Mm.
it's interesting. I think a lot of it has to do with education. And
Mm.
thank God now you can go to many types of arenas to get educated,
Mhm.
from quote unquote celebrity makeup artists to schools to seminars that companies actually give, like MAC and Makeup Forever.
Mhm.
You have no excuse not to know how to. But traditional beauty schools still teach on dolls that don't have kinky hair, or on dolls that are fair
Mm.
or medium skin tones but not necessarily dark skin tones. Some,
Mm.
but overall, many don't.
Mm.
It also makes the student very lazy,
Right.
you know?
Right. Well, they believe that, well, I can make a career, or all I have to do is this. I've learned this, and then I don't have to know anything else.
And sadly, you will lose a job with that attitude.
Well,
You will
yeah.
lose, yeah. And
Mm.
I've seen people get bumped off of jobs or not prepared, and they run over to my kid. Do you have a sienna powder? Do you have a cocoa powder? And I just look at them and, yeah, I do, and I give it to them. But I'm thinking at the same time, you're getting paid very well to be here. What some families make in a month, you're getting for a day.
Right. Right. Right.
And you can't walk yourself over to whatever store and buy a medium to golden to dark skin powder.
Right. Right. And you may find out that if you make that investment, the amount of money that you're making,
It opens up your world.
it
It
opens
really
up the
does.
world, because you have the ability to service and provide needed services to all these other people.
Yeah, and there are challenges even now as a makeup artist. Sometimes I get people in my chair. I'm like, oh, okay. This skin tone I haven't seen in a while, so let me figure out. But as
Right.
an artist, you learn how to mix and blend
And
and add colors into your kit to create what you need.
mm, wow. See, that's the artistry of the craft, right? I mean, that's that you've spent these years doing what you needed to do to learn how to do that, but you did that because you wanted to expand your mind about, okay, what the sky's the limit about this. So, you know,
Yeah,
let me go ahead and learn as much as I can learn and continue to learn and grow. You
it's
know,
true.
enhance beauty.
Enhanced beauty. Yes,
Enhance beauty. Your moniker is also the name of your book
it is.
as well. I was reading in the forward of the book around that this is about every day.
Yes.
You wake up in the morning and you go through your traditional morning routine, and you're ready to do, uh, your beauty treatment and your makeup and that kind of thing. How do you do that in a functional way
Mhm.
every single day, where you look fabulous, and you're able to go out in the day and not worry about makeup and other things.
Yeah, and
Uh,
how do you get out of routine? Because
Right.
a lot of times women that come to me too, like I'm teaching someone on Tuesday, it's her 40th, and she's like, I want a makeup lesson because in her 20s and 30s she wore her makeup the same way. Now she's 40,
Mm,
she's like, I'm getting older, but I still want to look great. How do I upgrade, basically?
okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
I literally tell them, bring your kit. I'll have my kit, but bring your kit. I'm going to walk you through what works, what doesn't, what you're keeping too long in your kit, like mascaras. Women can keep mascaras forever, but they shouldn't. Like little things. And then I walk them through, okay, this is how you should apply your foundation, your concealer, how you should
Mm,
powder, how you shape your brows. If you
mm,
want to add lashes, how you do lashes. If you want it to look natural or over the top, this is what you need to do. This is how you place your color. If your eyes have shifted a little, which they do as we age,
mhm.
or if you get a lift and something changes, the shape
Right.
or the crease, how do you work with that?
Mm. What's the number one aspiration or number one um, wish for those uh, men and women who read the book? What gift would you want them to take away from the book?
Simply self-acceptance,
Mm,
not trying to look or be like someone else.
mm, mm,
And that's it. And it's ironic that I'm working on the teen book right now, and my editor's working on editing right now. And the one thing that kept coming throughout the whole book for the teens, Enhanced Beauty for Teens, is that it's all about this is who you are, period, okay?
mm,
Now, how do we enhance that? But in enhancing that, I keep reiterating to them, like, accept your qualities, your diversity, what makes you beautiful.
mm,
I'm not trying to make you look like a Kardashian. I chose you, meaning the model, and they weren't models. They were actually like real teens, and because of your diversity, your mixture, your coloring, your shape, whatever.
mm.
So self-acceptance is key.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's really
Thank you.
beautiful. Yeah. Now, with the time remaining,
Hmm.
D'Angelo, I just have a couple of questions for you that
Okay.
are part of the normal process that
Okay.
I asked everyone that I interview. And the first question is, what does passion, the word passion, what does that mean to you?
Hmm. Passion. That's a good question. When I was younger, and actually up until recently, I used to try to pray it away. Passion, because I have
Mm,
a lot of it, and I learned that that is the gift from the divine. If you have passion for something, accept it, use it, follow through on it.
mm,
So I'm glad to be a person with passion.
mm, mm, that's nice. That's beautiful, man. Again, and the brother sister companion to that question is, what does purpose? That word, what does purpose mean to you?
Hmm. Purpose. It's funny. I think to get off the subject a little bit of
No,
makeup,
no,
I think
no.
it has to do with more of my spiritual beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Purpose for me is just to be the best possible human being I can be.
Mm,
And we get challenges through the relationships we have, life experiences we have to
mm-hmm.
stay on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And many friends could tell you that sometimes I pull back. I'm like, oh, you're driving me crazy right now. I'm about to take my wig off and say something I really don't want to say. But to stay on purpose and to stay in a divine place, it is to be the best human being I possibly can be.
Mm,
That is my purpose. I think it's all
wow.
of purpose, really, but my purpose.
Well, I can tell you, D'Angelo, first, thank you for um, allowing us to share your purpose, your passion with the Soulivity community, and help men and women find and express their own unique beauty with the world.
Yes. Yes, yes.
We hope that you've enjoyed our personal interview, The Enhanced Beauty of D'angelo Thompson. We really want to thank D'angelo for allowing us to share his personal story with the Soulivity community. Please stay tuned for future interviews with people just like each of you, learning to live their lives with passion and purpose. Until then, we wish you light, love, and of course, good living.